In today's video, we have last year's Galaxy Watch 5 versus this year's Galaxy Watch 6. First thing we're going to get into are the similarities. There are many, but we're really going to delve into what the differences are, which one you should buy in between the two, and if you should upgrade in between the 5 and the 6. But let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's first get into the similarities. Both these are pretty much going to have the exact same build. If you look at them side to side without looking at the screen, you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. They both come with a 40 and a 44 millimeter variant. They are both going to be an aluminum build quality as well. Their sensors are the exact same, and they both have two physical buttons, with the top right button being red on color. That kind of just differentiates between the two. They are both utilizing Wear OS 4 with One UI 5 on top that just came out with an update on the old 5. They both have the same GPS built in, NFC payment as well, and they're both water resistant, IP68 water resistant, so you can go swimming with this or even take a shower with this without any problems. They both are going to come with a 20 millimeter little barrel to put any sort of bands on you like, so the old bands will work with the new bands and the new bands will work with the old bands, no problem whatsoever. They're both coming in with 16 gigabytes of internal storage, so if you want to store anything like pictures or videos, but of course you're going to be probably putting on any music, but 16 gigabytes to be able to put that music on the actual watch. And they both have a sapphire crystal, so it's a lot more resistant to scratches than previous years with only Gorilla Glass. They're both going to be able to check your body fat percentage. They both have ECG built in as well. They both do great on fitness and sleep tracking. But let's get into the differences between the two. So the first thing you're going to see is the screen on both these guys. So if you look at them side by side, you would be able to actually tell which one is which just due to the screen size itself. They're claiming up to about a 30% increase in screen size. I don't know how to do the math on it, but as far as the specifications are concerned, the 40 millimeter variant on both of them, last year's model is going to come with a 1.2 inch screen, where this year's model is a 1.3 inch screen. 44-inch model, last year that was a 1.4-inch screen, and this year's model is a 1.5-inch screen, and I'll give up the pixels here as well, so you'll be seeing a little bit of a difference there as well. But probably one of the biggest differences between the two is this screen brightness. They say they are doubling this year's screen brightness up to 2000 nits, and I did see a pretty bright difference in a general sense, but last year's model really wasn't not that bright, but this year's model you could definitely tell does have a brighter screen. This year's model does come with a new Bluetooth 5.3. There's really not too many differences between the 5.2. Battery size. So let's go ahead and get into the differences between the 40 millimeter. With the 40 millimeter, last year's was 284 milliamps, where this year's is 300. Last year's 44 millimeter was 410, while this one is 425. So there is a slight increase with battery size, and I even noticed a little bit of difference as far as battery life is concerned, but not really that much of a difference if you were just looking in between the two. Even though it does have a bigger battery on the 6s, it is not equating to any weight whatsoever, and even the 44 millimeter is a little bit lighter, which is actually kind of weird, so you're not adding any density even though you have added some battery life. The new processor this year is the Exynos 930 instead of last year's 920. It has a 1.4 gigahertz, where last year's was a 1.18 gigahertz. They are claiming it's 18% faster. In a general sense, when you're doing things like body fat percentage and ECG, I did see a little bit faster on that regard, and opening apps as well. But as far as going through the user interface itself, I didn't see too much of a difference. And that also goes into RAM. Last year's did have 1.5 gigabytes of RAM, but this year's does have 2 gigabytes of RAM. And of course, they're saying there's going to be a lot better stability with that and faster. And yes, I did see some faster responses as far as opening up apps are concerned, but not really too big of a difference. As far as the user interface is concerned, really you're not seeing too much of a difference between the two. They both work pretty well. As you can see, I'm just switching in between the two relatively quickly. So even though it does have a faster processor and more RAM, you're really not going to see too big of a difference between these two watches. Let's get into price in the two. So with the new model, it is $300 starting for the 40 millimeter, and it's $30 extra, so $329 for the 44 millimeter. Last year, I am having a little bit difficulty finding prices on that. You can find a newer version of the 40 millimeter around $250, where again, around $30 more, $280 For a new one, you are looking to go to Amazon for that, so Samsung doesn't have it on their specific website. So there is about a $50 difference in between the two. So with a $50 difference in between the two, I would definitely go with the new 6 as far as the bigger screen and also the brighter screen. You are going to tell a difference with them side by side. And really, that's only the two differences. And of course, you are going to be getting more updates for longer. You're going to get 4 years of updates with the newer one. And of course, it was 4 years last year with last year's model, so you're now down to 3 years of updates. So you get an extra year of updates with the newer model, so it will last a little bit longer as well. You're getting that 2 gigabytes of RAM to help futurize it a little bit as well, and of course the newer processor. So between the two, $50 I do think goes a pretty long way, so I would go with the 6. But if you are looking to save that $50, you will not be upset with the old 5. But currently, if you are looking to upgrade between the two, if you trade in the old 5 to go with the 6, you get $150 back, so it ends up being $150 less expensive. But for that, I don't think it's a great price, even though you will not be getting a better price for the 5 right now. I wouldn't really go with that upgrade. I'd probably just stay with the 5 and wait for maybe the 7 to come out. Maybe hopefully it's going to have better fitness tracking, which again, they didn't really improve upon this year, which I was hoping they would. But there really isn't too big of an upgrade if you are looking to upgrade from the 5 with that trade-in process. But $150, you probably will not be able to sell that for right now, so you're going to be getting a good price for an older watch. And also, if you are looking to get any of the bands, I would recommend getting the fabric band if you get the choice when you are buying it online right now. The faux leather one isn't that bad, but Straps Company has some great bands. I've utilized them a lot on my watches, and I'll be linking those down below as well if you would like to check them out. And if you'd like to purchase either one of these, I will be posting a link down below, and a little bit of that purchase is going to help me grow my channel. But as always, stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, stay positive. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.